Picture the scene. Klal Yisrael on the banks of Eretz Yisrael, waiting to hear from their leaders what will be with the conquest of the promised land. The leaders show up, 12 of the greatest people of the generation, and 10 stand basically and say there's no chance. Walled cities, giants, Eretz Ocheles Yoshveh. It ain't happening. There's no way we're going to be able to do this. Except for 2 people. Imagine how hard that was for Yeshua and Kalev. And the pasuk speaks about it later on, right after the event. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, "Va'avdi Kalev ekev haisa ruach acheres himo v'yimalei Harary." Hashem looks over and says, "Wow, Avdi Kalev, my Kalev." Wait, what? How did Hashem forget Yeshua? Imagine you're walking down the street, you and your friend, and you hear, God forbid, the fire burning in a building and people are screaming. And 2 of you run in and you call the fire department and you open up a stairwell and you save people's lives and you save the day. And then a month later, the city gives you an award and the mayor gets up and he goes, "I want to tell you what heroism really is. Standing up against challenge, overcoming your fears. And I want to give an award for bravery to your friend." And he calls him up and everybody claps and you're like, "What? Hello? I was there too. It was a team." This isn't my question. This is the Or HaChaim. The Or HaChaim says, what happened to Yeshua? And he touches the pasuk in such a brilliant, beautiful way. Va'avdi Kalev. Do you know why Hashem says, I am giving Kalev the title, the honor of being called Avdi? Right? Moshe, ki even ne'eman karasala. You don't get a bigger title than Hashem saying, you are my Eved. You know why I'm calling him Avdi Kalev? Akev. It's a reward. What's his reward? Haisa ruach acheres, Imo. He had a ruach acheres. You see, Yoshua and Kalev went in, but remember, Yoshua went in with the tefillas of Moshe Rabbeinu. He got a yud. Moshe infused him with the level of yashris, of emes, of connection to Kodesh Baruch Hu, of seeing truth. So when the atzas, when the advice of the Meraglim started, Yeshua wasn't even tempted by them. But Kalev didn't have that. Ruach acheres. He had the other ruach. He wanted to be with them. He was tempted by them. He heard their advice. These were the leaders of the generation. He didn't want to step out. He didn't want to be different. He didn't want to go against. And he felt himself wanting to be, which is why he ran to Hebron, to Kivrei Avos. But even though he felt that he wanted to do the wrong thing, V'yimalei Acharei, the pasuk says. Hashem looks down and goes, of course I love you both. But you see my Kalev? He was tempted. He wanted it. His desires were burning for the other side. And he stood and looked at his desire and he says, I'm following Hashem nonetheless. You know, so many times in life, we see our taivas as proofs that we're tameh and that we are distant from Hashem. But we don't realize that it is that temptation that if we give Hashem makes us the closest to Him. Avdi Kalev, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is looking down at every one of us and saying, that ruach acheres that you have, that desire to do that, to see that, to go that way, to not be with those people, to pull away, the things in our lives that are the ruach that pulls us from Hashem, if you give that to Hashem, va'avdi, you become His Eved. Hashem looks down and goes, I love you all. But you see my Kalev struggling, you see my Kalev with temptations, you see that desire, He gave that to me. And He followed me anyways. That's my Eved.